Hello, and joining me today is Travis Banks, New Zealand's own Kiwi buzzsaw. He just had a show last night in Hull at NXT UK. How was it?
Great. Hull was awesome.
Hull is awesome.
I don't think I've actually ever been here before.
Have you not?
Yeah, we were talking about, I was like, have I wrestled in Hull before? And a lot of the guys have for like various companies, but I was I don't think I've ever stepped foot in Hull before. So thank you.
Yeah, one of the guys in your match, Joseph Connors, he's been in Hull quite a lot, so probably part of the reason he was so over as well.
Big bad guy in Hull, apparently.
He is, yeah absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, I do appreciate it. So you came into the British scene in around 2016?
I got here in 2015, I had a couple matches, but then 2016 was kind of like my building up year, and then 2017 was like my breakout year. So,
great,
yeah.
Cool. So it's 2017 when you moved across here?
2015 in November 15th, the exact date. November 15th, 2015 was when I moved. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And so you've come from New Zealand, and obviously most of your training started in New Zealand. How's that different to the training that you've received in Britain since then?
The New Zealand scene when I very first started there was 3 companies. A lot of the guys, they hadn't done anything. There was like one guy, he'd done, his name's Gimme. He was my trainer. He had done a tour with Bushwhacker Luke and Billy Gunn, and I think he might have like trained with OVW, and like literally that's all he'd done. He'd just done this one tour. He had trained with OVW like once or twice. So he was kind of just giving everybody else like what he knew. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
So we were like, when I first came out, I've got to go train with him because he's like the one that knows the guy knows the most out of everyone. Obviously doesn't have that much experience, but at that time I was like, he's the one that has the most experience. So, but now it's a little bit, it's changed now though. So there was like 3 companies then, but now like this big company in the South Island called SPW started off by this guy called Marcus Cool, and he used to wrestle here in the UK for like 15 years. So he moved there and I started this company, and it's awesome. I went back like last year and they drew like 2,000 people.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. So when I left like 4 years ago, I wrestled in front of like 150 max, maybe 200 people. Then I go back and they're like doing like 2,000 people arenas and stuff.
Brilliant.
Like that.
That was really good.
Yeah, it was cool. Like I think part of it is like there's a lot of us like me, Dakota, and all that like representing New Zealand well and getting eyes on the scene, but then there's also a lot of guys working hard there, and then it's all kind of just like come together and just boom the scene a little bit. So
NXT New Zealand might be next. Might be next.
Maybe. It might be like
there's a couple of others.
Yeah.
Groovy. So why was Britain the right fit for you? Because obviously you wrestled all across the world.
Yeah. So it was actually a well calculated thought process. So I trained in Japan with the 01 dojo, and then when I came back from there, I was like, man, I gotta get out again. And then I went to the States and I trained with Dave Rich, the Kyle O'Reilly of NXT.
Yeah.
But for me at that current point in time, I actually didn't have that much money, and when I went to America, it wasn't good financially for me because just the scene over there and like the indie scene over there, I was like, wasn't getting much work, like. Because the country's so big, the exposure was like limited. I wasn't wrestling the best guys, but at that time, because I wrestled for like Ring of Honor and stuff like that, I was just like, well, at the time it was like the biggest thing I had done. I was like, when I got back to New Zealand, I was like umming and ahhing about going back. I was like, maybe I don't know if it's a good decision. But when I was in America, I met Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews at a really little independent show. It was called St. Louis Anarchy. And we were kind of just out the back complaining about everything. Like we were like kind of like huddled together, like for some reason. Like, oh, the UK scene's way better. And they're telling me all about it. I was like, maybe I might go to the UK scene. So I kept in contact with them. So then I told them, I was like, hey, I'm going to come over, and they're like, cool, that would be a great idea. Oh, so that was like that was like the leading decision. Like I was like, I could go back to America or I could try the UK scene. I already know Pete and Mark. And Kyle as well. Kyle put me over to Fight Club Pro. So I already had like these 3 connections, and I was just like, maybe I should just try the UK. Scene's smaller, like physically smaller. I think the quality of wrestling is a lot higher.
It's intense.
Yeah, there's a bit more money to be made, and I just felt like it was a natural fit. And also, coincidentally, my best friend moved to the UK like 4 months prior, and he goes, "You can come crash on my couch." I was like, "Yeah, I'm
Bonus.
sold. I'm sold. Come to you." So Pete, Mark, and Kyle O'Reilly were like quite instrumental in my decision to come here to the UK.
Rock and roll. So you talked about crashing on a couch, but in New Zealand you was crashing in a railway carriage. Is that right?
Yeah.
You want to tell us a bit about
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean,
So when I in 2008 there was a show with Raven on it. So my hometown. Let me just back the story up. My hometown. There's like 5,000 people there, so there's like the smallest hometown, and right outside there is like at the time when I was young, it was like a big city called Palmerston North. But it's not that big really when I think about it, looking back. And I saw a poster, me and my best friend saw a poster for a wrestling show, and I didn't know anything about live wrestling or like independent wrestling or anything like that. And Raven was on it. And I was like, what the hell? I just saw it walking down the street and it was just there. I was like, we were like, what? Because we're like massive wrestling fans. We're like, Raven! Oh yeah, what? So we went to the show and it was, it wasn't the best.
Okay.
And Raven was, we were like, what the hell is this? Like, I don't know. But
did you get to meet him? Or
yeah, we met him and he was like charging us for everything, and I thought it was very and stuff like that. It was funny. It was a great experience, and I always like look back at it fondly. But I watched the show and I was just like, I could probably do this. So I called the promoter. So I went up and talked to the promoter of that show, got his number, I called him, and then moved down at the end of 2008. And so when I called him, he sold me this, and this is going into the train carriage story, he sold me this dream of like, he said to me it was like I would like to start professional wrestling, and he was like, come down, this professional wrestling course that I run 7 days a week. Awesome. So I thought, okay, this is the performance center for New Zealand. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, great, this is all my dream. Like, this is everything I wanted. I was like, cool. And so I moved down to Wellington and continued slept on somebody else's couch for a little while just until I got myself set up. And I turned up to the performance center of New Zealand, in quotation marks, and it was just this little shed next to a railway station. It was like, when the train would come past, the whole place would shake because he had built it in like the 80s.
Really?
Like he'd built it himself in the 80s, and it's all like not up to like health and safety standards or anything like that. Okay. But he ran this course out of it, and what it turned out being was a troubled youth course, and he just needed to get people on to get like funding for it. It was like, so like everybody, he'd like just tell people, oh, do you like kickboxing? Okay, come on this course. I do kickboxing.
Right.
And you get like, he would get like $5,000 a person.
Yeah.
And just.
And the rest of the time you were just doing just jobs.
Well, no. So to be fair, he did know professional wrestling because he was a professional wrestler back in the day, like a New Zealand one, a horrible one. Like it was like the equivalent of like World of Sport, but like for New Zealand, it was called On the Mat. I'm pretty sure it was off the ropes. No, it was called On the Mat, and it was kind of like the New Zealand version of like World of Sport sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he used to, I don't even know if he was on that show, but he was a wrestler. So so he did, to be fair, the first day he did teach me how to bump and all that sort of stuff that like a professional wrestler needs
the starting basics.
Yeah. But then the rest of the time he was like, we're just gonna do chores, weed the garden, mow the lawns and all this stuff, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, and then I found out what the whole course was about. But I stayed there for 2 years, and he couldn't use a computer either, so I was like his secretary. And I didn't even need to do the course because I didn't need unit standards or anything. I'd already passed high school, so I was just kind of hanging around and just training and like trying to get in the ring as much as I could for like 2 years. Then also on top of that was the actual company in the WBW that I started with, and and out the back was a train car. Train carriage that he converted into a room. And I'm not saying like it was luxury at all. It was like just a door. Like it was just really poorly put together room, and there was like mice and stuff running around. And I said,
nothing like the NXT UK performance. Brand new place.
No, it wasn't nothing like that at all. The only saving grace was there was a ring there, and so I was like, okay, I feel like it. But his thing was, because I was reading Mick Foley's book at the same time, I was thinking, Yeah, and I was thinking, well, if Mick Foley slept in his car, I could do the same thing. Sleep in this train carriage. That's all I need. You know
I'm pleased that you're in NXT UK now. You're not sleeping in any cars or rail carriages. I'm sure you've got nice accommodation and you're in the Hilton, which is one of the finer places of all to
It's a little bit different to this.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and good luck for everything in the future.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And there we go. Just got back from the interview with Travis Banks, and what a lovely guy, both on and off camera, really patient with us while we set up the equipment, and just nice to have a chat to. It's great to hear a bit about his history with New Zealand and coming across to Britain to NXT UK. After a hard-hitting fight as well last night with Joseph Connors and Ligero, here he is, sat in a suit, looking swish, looking like he's not hurting, but I'm sure he was because it was a really hard-hitting fight. I can't wait to see that on NXT UK. Obviously, the audio in the video wasn't great. Unfortunately, we had an Audacity crash halfway through, so that's what we used to record the software on. So I couldn't use that, so I've had to use the camera audio and clean it up as best as we can. So apologies for that. Hopefully it won't happen in the future. Speaking of future, what do you see Travis Banks doing in the future? When's his first WrestleMania match going to be? Who's it going to be against? You know, I can't wait to see what WWE has in store for Travis Banks, because he is a talent in the ring and he is a great worker. A massive thank you to WWE and in particular Tom and Arnold, who helped make this interview possible. For more wrestling content, head on over to Soundsphere. There's a link down in the description below for the wrestling content and lots of music content on there as well. Hopefully we'll get to do more interviews in the future. It'd be great to get more on the channel. I think that they're really worthwhile doing. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and check us out on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. All the links for that are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep it gay.